All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today and welcome to the series 2 of our Prime Day webinar. And my name is Jun Liang. I'm the trainer in Amazon Global Selling. And today we will also have Ethan later who will be sharing with us during the Q&A session on some of the questions that you may have during these sessions. So today we're going to talk about how you can get ready for Prime Day this year. All right, now before we get into the details, now do take note that the session will be recorded, and don't worry that if you need to take any notes or something in the screens, we will be sending a follow-up email after this webinar whereby you'll get the links to actually view the recordings. So don't worry about this. And then also if you have any questions, please use the Q&A box at the, I believe it's your right hand side, and then we will be able to address it as we go along the session, all right? Okay, so do take note of the important notice. Now, in the presentation, we may share certain contents and even best practices. Now, do be informed that this does not constitute any legal or tax or financial advice. If you're in doubt of any of the things that may potentially be part of your legal or financial tax advisors, please do check with your professional advisor. And then also recommendation in this presentation are only intended to provide you with information only. So if you were to use any of the recommendation, it should not be a substitute of your own judgment about the demands for your products. Because as you probably know, there's a lot of factors that may influence your actual demands for your products, including the price fluctuations and consumer demand shift, etc. So do note of this. So here's the agenda for today. Today we're going to talk about how to create a listing. So there's a couple of ways that you see, and then how can you optimize your listing with some quick tips and tricks, and also what are the Prime Day cutoff date that you should be aware of, and then we will end with a live Q&A where we will address all the questions that you may have. All right, firstly, we will go through the steps on how to create a listing. Now, before you start your listing, right, there are a couple of questions that you need to ask yourself. So the three main questions that you should think of is whether are you intending to list it under a brand name? So whether your product you intend to sell, do they require any additional listing approvals? And lastly, does your product have a manufacturer barcode? So first question is, does your product that you intend to list has a brand name? Now, if yes, right, you have an eligible trademark, you will be ideally advised to enroll into Amazon brand registry so that you can gain access to the Amazon brand building tools, such as the A+ content or the stores features. Then again, if you intending to list under a brand name but you do not have a trademark, you need to apply for a brand name exemptions. So for this, right, you will need to check if your brand name is eligible to be exempted via the Seller Central. And then what you need to do on top is to ensure that your brand name is permanently affixed onto your product or the product packaging. Now, secondly, if the product that you intend to sell require additional listing approval, now do take note that the certain categories require sellers to obtain a pre-approval from Amazon before you are allowed to start creating your listing. Now, for instances, if you were to sell perhaps like grocery items, you will typically need to submit your FDA cert. And then if you were to sell the toys for children below, like I believe it's 13 years old, you may require to submit a CPC cert. So you simply have to head on to the Seller Central and search for the restricted product policy so that you can learn more about what are the different categories that will require you to submit additional document. So what is FDA? FDA actually stands for Food and Drug Administrations. So it's a federal agency in the US under the, if I remember correctly, I think it's the Department of Health in the US. And then if you're wondering what is CPC, CPC stands for Children's Product Certificate. So for manufacturers or importers of like children's products, you will have to be certified in return via this CPC cert. So they'll run like a series of tests to kind of know whether your toys is safe, or whatever test they have is safe for the children to actually use it and have to be comply with the US safety rules over there. So lastly, for the manufacturer barcode on the point 3, so if your product have a barcode like a UPC or ISBN or EAN, JAN, they are all just different types of barcode, then you can proceed to start listing. And during the listing process, you will input your manufacturer barcode during the creation. So it will prompt you for your barcode. So if you do not have a manufacturer barcode, you can do a check to see if your product is available for GTIN exemption. Or if not, you will have to purchase a barcode from GS1. So GTIN refers to Global Trade Item Number. For those who don't know, it's just an identifier for trading of the items developed by GS1. So GS1, I believe, is a company or kind of authority that manage all these identifier across globally in their own database. All right. So in summary, GS1 is the company that standardize and keep tracks of all the barcodes and unique numbers in the world. As for the rest, I can roughly tell you, like UPC stands for Universal Product Code. It's another type of codes that identify your products. And then EAN is like European article numbering system used in Europe that's similar to UPC. Right, JAN is like Japanese article numbering, Japanese version, and of course ISBN is like the standard book, international standard book number. So you can read more, easily found online on what are these codes being used for different types of product easily. Yeah. So there are a total of 3 methods that you can use to create your listings. First of all, you can manually do it. Now, if you have less than 10 products, yeah, it might be more time saving to do it manually, one by one. So the instructions is there. If you're in your Seller Central, you can just go to Seller Central, click on the catalog and add products. Now, the other method you can do is bulk upload. If you have like more than 10 products, you should use the bulk upload features. And then one thing to note that if you are not using the professional account, you will not have the bulk upload feature because it is only for the professional seller account. Then you will be able to do a bulk upload using the template that you will download it from the Seller Central and then put in your listing details and then upload it back to Seller Central. Now, lastly, the last method is if you wish to sell a product that is already available or is a listing that is currently on Amazon's catalog, you may choose to match it to an existing listing. For this, you can do a search of the product name or even the barcode or the AC number, and then you can proceed to match your existing listing and then fill up the rest of details such as your offer price, etc. So next, some of you may have the product with multiple variations. So your product, for example, in this screenshot, maybe you are selling a shirt, and this shirt will have different types of variations. In many ways, it could be the color or even the sizes, but they will share a single product title. So now typically the buyer will expect to find this product together on a single product page. This will also introduce a better customer experience. So we will advise sellers who have a product with multiple variations to actually list it such a way instead of creating individual listing so that your sellers can find your other variation more easily. So to explain a little bit further, you can also create 2 types of variation. Now, for example, what you see on the screen, all right? So for your product, you may have different configurations such as color, and then you can list under maybe a single variation. Now, on the other hand, like what you see in the screen right here is you could have different color and sizes, and you can list it under what we call double variations. You can see the comparison between the left and the right example that you see. So these are the differences between a single variation and double variations. So how do you create a variation? Here is what you need to do. When you're logged into Seller Central, you go to click on the catalog and then select Add Product and put in the relevant details. Over here, there will be a tab called Variation, and you can choose the different types of variations. This template will appear when you follow on the steps listed over here. But don't worry, in Seller University, we also have a guide here to guide you on how can you create your product variation step by step that you can take reference from. And if you do encounter any difficulties, there is also an option inside the Seller Central portal. You can reach out to the seller partner support as well to assist you. Right, so far so good. So here are some common FAQ that we usually got from our sellers. So now, first of all, the common question we get is like, I purchased barcodes from GS1, but received error message like this in the screenshot when I try to create my product listing. So what you need to do for this issue, right, you would have to open a case with a seller partner support and then attach all your supporting documents from your GS1 portal that you downloaded, all the documents, and then send in for verification. So if the SPS, the seller partner support, is unable to provide any resolution, then I will advise that you can reach out to your account manager and forward the case ID, and we will be able to help and resolve it internally. So if you don't know who is your account manager until now, you can reach out to me later on the Q&A, and then I will assist to help you find out who is the account manager that's being assigned to assist you if you were to ever need such a support. Now, the second most common question is seller asks is that, I wish to sell in a closed or gated category, but my documents are rejected. Closed or gated categories are some of the categories that I mentioned earlier on. There'll be like things like groceries or even like selling toys, those that may require certain documents to be approved before you are able to list it successfully. So these are some of the category that will be on an approval basis. So what this happen is that if your documents are rejected, again, you should start raising a case on the seller partner support with all the supporting documents. Similarly, if the SPS is unable to provide any resolutions, feel free to reach out to your account manager and share with them the case ID that was provided to you when you file a case on the seller partner support feature on Seller Central. Our next question is, I already have an active listing in another marketplace. So how can I migrate my listing over to the Amazon.com? So for example, you may be already selling on the other marketplaces. How can you then migrate over? So you can leverage on, there's a tool which is called Build International Listing Tool. So this tool will help you create and update your offer, your listing from a single source market to one or more target marketplaces that you want to sell in. All right, so you can go to these tools under Seller Central as well, under Inventory, and there's an option for you to select Sell Globally, and then you should be able to see the tool called Build International Listing. So this will help you to migrate your listings to the other marketplaces like Amazon.com. So lastly, one of the common questions we got is that why is it that I can't see my product, when I search it on Amazon.com? You know that you do all your listing, everything is successful, somehow it's not appearing when you are searching your own product. So there is many factors actually, because the search itself has some algorithm backend depend on your usage on the website, etc., and also your listing keyword, etc. But one of the easier options that you could consider is leverage on advertising tools such as sponsored products. Sponsored products is one of the Amazon advertising tools available for all sellers. So using a sponsored products by launching your ads on your product, that would actually increase your product visibility on Amazon, so that when people search for certain keywords or listing that is related, you will be able to um, have a higher chance of have your product being surfaced up as a sponsored ads when the shoppers are buying on Amazon.com. We do have a lot of webinars that you can attend. Do check out on our website. There is, I think, an ad week's coming up this month, I believe. So there is a lot of the ads webinar conducted by our ads specialists that will be able to share all the tips and tricks on how you can effectively run ads to promote your listing and optimize your campaigns. Before we move on, just want to remind everyone again, if you have any questions throughout, don't have to wait at the end. You can straight away put it into the Q&A box, and then I will be able to help address it later at the end of the session. Okay, now I'm going to go through how you can optimize your listing. So as you probably know as well, that listing is very crucial, and hence we need to optimize so that to improve the discoverability of your products on Amazon.com. Now, sharing a very detailed, or rather detailed descriptions and images of a product will definitely allow customers to make a more informed purchase decisions. Having attractive and well-informed listing will enable higher listing conversion. So you can see from the slides, there are 6 key things that will impact your listing. Things like the leaf node search terms will help to improve your discoverability. And then the other things like the product bullet points, the images, description, and A+ content can then help to enhance your listing and your catalog. Now, first of all, these leaf nodes are the key attributes to guide the shoppers, the buyers themselves to select and filter items effectively on Amazon.com. Now, Amazon customers typically find products through search and browsing through them. So you will need to classify your products so that they also appear under the right leaf nodes. So you can see on the lower left is how can you edit your leaf nodes. So under your product listing, you can select the vital info, and under more details, you can update the additional key attributes over there. To add on a few examples, so if let's say a buyer wish to purchase a wallet, so some attributes they will select and filter could be things like the brand name, the color, or even the price or the style and pattern. So it's important to ensure that your product has included all the relevant leaf nodes, like the ones I mentioned above, so that you will not miss any sales opportunity from seller who wants to purchase such a product, and when they do the kind of filtering while they are browsing through the Amazon.com. So next, on number 2, the search terms. Now, in order for customers to find your products on Amazon.com, it is important to provide search terms that they might use when searching for what they want to buy. Now, most of the customers probably already know what they want to buy and may also search for the products directly on our search bar with the relevant keywords. So it is very important to ensure that your product listing has included this hidden keyword search terms in your product listing page. Doing so such that it will appear in the search result to the customers who might have a higher purchase intent. But there are some things to take note that your search term should be less than 250 characters, and it should ideally cover the features such as your product name, your brand name, or some key product attributes. You may also choose to use, for example, like 2 to 3 word phrases as well. Now, things to avoid: try not to include irrelevant keywords or even promotional wordings and subjective words. The search terms are not case sensitive, so you do not have to, put in any like camel case or capital letters. It is not case sensitive. So some tips: if you have no idea on what kind of keywords to add, there are 3 ways you can source for relevant keywords. First of all, you can look at information from similar listing like yours to pick and choose what you think are the relevant keywords. Or you can even go to customer reviews. That's the second tips you can try, looking at what are the reviews that customer give. So that could potentially be some of the terms that customers are searching for. And lastly, if you do run advertising, you can look at the advertising search terms report in the Amazon Ads console. Now, once you have all your search terms that you want to include, you can easily edit them by clicking into your product listing and select keywords. So over there, you will be able to put in all the search terms that you think are relevant for your shoppers to find your products. All right, number 3, the third point is on the product bullet points. So this bullet point will help you to sell your product feature and the benefits of your product. So they are descriptive text about specific aspect of your product that appear on the detail page. So a tip is that up to 5 bullet points can be included for each product. So this you see on the screenshot here, that's where the product bullet points will appear, typically under your product details, under 1,000 characters, so as not to be overflow with too much text on your listing page. This will help improve the readability greatly. So take note that well-written bullet point will naturally contain keywords, but the first priority that you should be aware of is to take note that you are helping your customers to make a buying decision. So do your best to communicate clearly the benefits and the features of your products. What you can do, you can highlight the key features you want buyer to consider, like the size, the dimension, the suitable age that the product is usable for, and then the ideal condition for the product, the skills level or the content or even the country of origin and so on. And you maintain a very consistent order. So if your first bullet point is about your country of origin, try to keep it that same order for all your different other products. And then if you have important points that you want your shoppers, your buyers to be aware of, do reiterate the important information that is from your title and descriptions. And also do not include promotional and pricing information, as mentioned earlier slide as well. So try to have a minimum of like 4 product feature bullets if you can. So a quick guide below on the yellow light bulb is that how you can go to edit your product bullet points. Click into your product listing page, select your description, and then you can start to add or update your bullet points over there. Now, every detail page in the Amazon store require at least 1 product image. All right, so we will recommend you to provide at least 3 image and 1. So that's number 4 about product images. So number 5 is about product description. So product description is situated lower on the detail page. It actually gives you an opportunity to provide more information about your product that the customer can take into consideration before they purchase your product. You can include more details such as the benefits, the usage or the product purposes. Now, in this example we included here, the description helps to form a better idea of what your product or even brand is about. Now, with the additional information that may not be included in your product bullet points, you can add or even update your description directly by clicking into your listing page and select description. So the example is the one in green over here. So after reading it, do you find that the description is actually very helpful for you to decide and kind of imagine, how you can actually use the product? All right, the last point, it's about the A+ content. With every listing kind of look the same, how do you ensure that a consistent customer experience, and then your listing will be able to stand out? So one of the feature that you can use is the A+ content. All right. So this feature is available exclusively to registered brand owners only. So A+ content is additional rich text and image content available in the bottom section of your product detail page. So A+ content gives you more control over your detail page, and you have the ability to add content to enhance your customers' experience. So this helps them make well-informed decisions while at the same time maintaining the basic tenets of customer experience. Now, some of the benefits of A+ content includes sales uplift. So studies have shown there's an increased traffic and conversion that comes with adding high quality A+ content. This helps drive sales, and then it will increase of more than 5% in the first years, according to the studies. And then secondly, it will help to also reduce customer returns and negative reviews, because this is also a topic that came up often. Now, how can I avoid customer returns and negative reviews? So one of the suggestions or quick tip is that providing more specific information about your product by creating this A+ content, for example, it helps your customer make a more informed purchase decisions that would eventually lead to a fewer returns and fewer negative customer reviews. Now, last but not least, this feature also encourages repeat purchases. All right, it can help to share your brand story and information about your product and help to develop brand loyalty as well. Now, to create your A+ content, you will have to go into clicking to advertising on Seller Central and then select A+ content manager. And after that, you can proceed to start creating the A+ content. But do take note, as I mentioned earlier on, that this feature is currently only available to registered brand owners on Amazon Brand Registry. So if you have an eligible trademark, you should start enrolling into brand registry so that you are able to gain early access to brand building tools such as A+ content. Okay, before I move on to the next segment, I also want to introduce you this tool called Listing Quality Dashboard. So this is a tool on Seller Central that will help highlight to you what are the important product information for you. So these recommendations are focused on helping you to actually improve the discoverability of your products. And by doing so, it will enable better customer experience. They'll be able to help to reducing the returns on your products. And this dashboard will show you your product listing that needs improvement. And then they will provide you recommendation. You just will need to follow through on the dashboard and click on the specific product that is recommended. And over there, it will actually prompt you like what are the options that you can select or include to make your listing better. For example, to improve discovery, they may provide this tool will provide like what are the leaf node recommendations to add if you did not do so during your listing process. So they'll recommend you what are the attributes that you could add on to improve the discoverability of your product. So using this, we also enable the product overview experience. Now, product overview is a new experience that will highlight important product attributes above the bullet points on your product detail page. This feature helps customers to evaluate and decide, on your product easily to make a faster buying decision. However, not all products are having this feature. Currently, it's only available for a limited number of product types, but we are working to enable this for more product types. So in some of the listing, you may not see this feature appearing because it is still not available for all the products type. And also I mentioned earlier on, if you follow through the recommendation, that will potentially help to reduce your customer returns, because usually from the customer return that we see is usually due to a lack of critical product information on the product detail page. For example, like compatibility feature for example, like headphones or cables. These details are not shown. So the recommendation, this listing quality dashboard tool will help to prompt you to add some of these information inside your listing. So lastly, the tool will also provide you with actions that you need to take. So some listing information needs to be filled by a certain date in order to prevent that your listing being suppressed by the Amazon platform. So coming to this tool often will definitely be very useful for you to ensure that you are on top of your product listings, and then making sure that none of the listing is being affected. So as a recommendation, you should check at least once a week on this product listing, or rather the listing quality dashboard. So every week you should come here and take a look to see what are the recommendations or whether there's any actions that you need to done so that it won't impact your listing in Amazon.com. So do check it often. All right, now let me bring you through Prime Day cutoff dates. So here's the timeline that we have proposed for you to work backwards. The prior FBA cutoff date is 15 June. So I think we are probably at the early May right now. So ideally, now we are at the yellow box on the bottom. You should have already stock and ship. All your inventory should already be in the progress of shipping to the Amazon warehouse fulfillment center. And then by early June, this is the Prime Day promotion. So at this period, you should ideally start to run some of the Prime exclusive discount or coupons to take advantage of the peak season traffic, because the Prime Day date is not a date that is known beforehand. So there will be shoppers who are kind of like, getting prepared, ready, and browsing the items maybe on a daily basis. So the traffic usually will be a lot before Prime Day. So the cutoff date is 15 June, meaning that that's a hard deadline that your inventory must reach the fulfillment center in order to be Prime eligible, so that all your items, your product shipping will be in time to run any Prime Day promotions and to enjoy having the best traffic and sales during Prime Days. So do take note, right? Especially new sellers, you should try to finalize a selection of product that you wish to sell on Amazon, which by right you should have done in like April already. So now we are already in May. Just so that if you look at the date, you will have sufficient time to liaise with your supplier and your manufacturer and send in before the cutoff date. Yeah. So typically, as you would probably know as well, that most sellers would ship to the fulfillment center using a sea shipment. It's more cost effective typically. And because of that, it would take about 1 to 2 months to reach our US fulfillment center. So again, you need to start shipping your products in. So we do have a next session regarding the Prime Day merchandising tools and checklists. So I would also highly recommend you to sign up. At the end of it, I will share the links to sign up as well, also in the follow-up emails. So I believe that is happening on 25th this month. Yep. So there will be a QR code later at the end, so you can head over to register. All right, this is just something that I was sharing earlier on in terms of the tentative date by taking example from last year. Yes, so over here, you can scan the QR code here. We have a listing optimization one pager, which I mentioned earlier on, is hosted on Seller University, where there's a ton of resources for you. And then, of course, on our Amazon Global Selling YouTube page, there's also a lot of the videos that you can help you guide depending on the topics you are interested in. So all the recordings that we ran will also be uploaded to our YouTube playlist. And in Seller Central, this is where you can go to Seller University for those who are not aware of. On the side menu, under the Learn section at the end, you will see Seller University. Right, or you can use the QR code as well. I will also share all the links of the QR code that I've shared in the follow-up emails too. And once you reach the Seller University page, there is different categories of topics depending on what are you interested to find out. And then you can review all the resources available on demand. All right, we have reached the end of the webinar. Now, before we go into the Q&A part, can I maybe have your attention to give us some feedback on the short survey on the QR code, and also the QR code in the middle is the one that I mentioned. We have an upcoming session regarding Prime Day merchandising and tools. And the last QR code is the resources where you can download for more information. Now I'm going to take a look at what are the questions we have right now. First question is, how do I reach the seller support partner? So there's a link provided. You can go to the link and then select the type of problem you're facing and choose your preferred mode of communication. All right, the other question is regarding the recording. So yes, we will have the recording and we will send it over in the follow-up email. Thank you. So I see the questions regarding about account manager. So yeah, please share your email in the Q&A so that we can help to check with you if you have not done so yet. So there's a question regarding for brand name exemption. If I do not have the trademark yet and I listed a product under my brand, can the same listing have A+ content once I acquire the trademark and brand registry, or I have to create a new listing again? So I believe Ethan has addressed this question, so I will just repeat the answer here. Now, if you have trademark already for the same exact brand name as the one you got exempted from previously, you should be able to get A+ content access for the existing listing. There's a question regarding, I want to register my brand to Amazon brand registry, but my trademark is registered in the Philippines and it's not USA. Is this okay? Or do I have to register my trademark in USA? All right. For this question, if I recall, yeah, did
Yeah,
somebody
maybe I
take?
can Yeah, maybe I can take this question. So, if your trademark is registered in the Philippines, unfortunately, under brand registry, we do not accept Philippines trademark as of yet. So, I would recommend you to file for a US trademark or try to get the WIPO access for your Philippines trademark. Yeah, there is actually a list of eligible trademark for brand registry. Maybe I can share the link in the chat. So, give me a minute. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ethan. All right. Okay, I move on to another question we got. So may I check if I have an active listing in Amazon US and I wish to sell for other Amazon selling country? How can I copy listing to other countries' Amazon marketplaces? If I'm not wrong, at the start of the slides, I shared there is actually a tool that you can use to migrate the listings. Let me just go back at the front. Okay, there is. So, yep, in the common FAQ that we got, yeah, on point number 3. So there is a tool which is called, let me take a look. There's a tool that you can use to migrate your listing. All right, it is called Build International Listing. So under your Seller Central, you go to Inventory and select Sell Globally, and you can see there's the option for you to select Build International Listing.
Yeah, maybe I can also add on top of the Build International Listing tool that let's say if you don't know how to search, actually you can just go to the search bar and just type Build International Listing. You can actually leverage on this new feature that we have for US Marketplace. So if you already listed in other marketplace, when you click into Edit Listing, if you scroll all the way to the bottom under the Offers tab, there should be options for you to create offers in other marketplace. Yeah, maybe I can write down the steps under the chat box also. So basically, go to a marketplace where you have an existing listing, click through the edit button. Under the offers tab, there should be options for you to create offers in other marketplace. That is another option for you. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Ethan. All right, another question. Can I clarify, is Mother's Day, Merry Christmas, or Christmas Day, Thanksgiving considered promotional keyword if we want to add as text to images? So the answer is yes. These are technically promotional events keywords. Yeah. All right, next question is there a way to see the traffic or number of views or clicks on a product listing? Right, so if you are a brand owner with trademark enrolled into brand registry, you can leverage the search catalog performance report under brand build analytics. Otherwise, you can see it under the business report under ASIN traffic and sales. So one of the questions is regarding the FBA cutoff. So what happens if my stock gets in only after 15 June due to shipment delay? Does that mean I can't run Prime Day promotion? So the answer from Ethan is that your FBA shipment may take a longer time to check in if it arrive after 15 June. So however, let me see, I jump. So however, there are cases that, we've probably seen some seller shipment checking in past the cutoff date and still manage to check in for Prime Day. But this is not guaranteed, so try to ship in as soon as you can. So another question, when is Prime Day? So Prime Day date is not announced yet. It's usually like a few weeks or a month before. And honestly, internally, we don't know as well. So we just need to look out in the news. Yeah. Okay, there's a question regarding countries like Japan and Germany on the language translation when about if I want to create a new listing in that country marketplace, which means all the country SKU are individually and do not sync across. Let me see. So the answer is that if the Amazon internal tool is unable to help you migrate over, you will need to engage your third-party provider on your end to help you create your listing to ensure the translation quality is okay for you. Yeah. So let me know if I miss out any questions. Okay, I hope I did not miss out any questions. If yes, you might need to type in again. So I think we are almost time. So maybe a minute more if you have any more questions. If not, we will end the call in about a minute's time. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good afternoon. See you at the next session. Thank you, Ethan. Thank you. Bye-bye.